Hi, I'm Shaken Gaming. Welcome to yet another level 7 ability guide ranking thingy. We are now up to 21 heroes of the old ones at least. There's also some on the dwarfs and half-pigs that I will have to include. But this patch brought 7 new characters. Tenessa, Salvador, Centerra, Rantha, Robin Bad, Master Duo, and Alyria, all with 4 new abilities. Rantha didn't get her leadership, so that's still level 6. I will quickly go over them one by one and explain why I gave them the points that I've given them. Tenessa. Her basic ability gets 50% more damage and poison lasts 1 more turn. It already lasts 2 turns, so 3 turns doesn't make a big difference if in many situations anyway. Of course it'll have an impact in some situations, but you're not getting more stacks. And more stacks is what's really important for her and for Amara looking at their passives. 50% more damage is nice, but nothing extraordinary. 3 points, which is the average. My ranking goes from 1 being absolutely crap to 5 being amazingly good upgrade. Her second ability is getting 200% more healing, same as the level before. And up here it doesn't say anything more, but at the bottom it says 100% of health healed above the maximum split equal between all wounded allies. This is nice, and I considered putting this on a 4, but I've only given it a 3 points. While it's nice to get 200% extra healing and that she's able to heal more than just one character, if you are not heal blocked, if you have more characters that need health, still the amount healed will get small across a team, but it's a big 3, even though I didn't give it 3.5 like I have with a few I couldn't decide on. This one, her third ability, gains 50% more damage and inflict 2 stacks of poison for 2 turns. Now, that's extra. There was no poisoning before for no turns. Getting 50% extra damage on a very good ability and afflicting 2 stacks of poison for 2 turns. That's good. That's very good. I gave this 5 points. And getting it to level 8 when we get there looks like another massive one. Her passive is 5% extra magic damage for each living goblin in the party. So with a full goblin team, that's 25% and 25% for Amara. I've given this 4 points. I'm not sure it's that high or 3.5 or something, but it's definitely a good upgrade because it applies to Amara as well. If you don't have Amara with her, that's definitely only a 3. With Amara, I think it could be a 4. That was Tenessa. Salvador, he's interesting. I gave his basic 2 points. He moves up from 40% chance to gain a shield equal to 10% of his max health to 70% to gain 15% of max health. This guy is so slow that when you get to this ability, the fight is probably over or decided anyway. It doesn't matter what happens when he gets there, especially considering his following abilities. So I don't think it's worth it at all. It's not like it's useless, but it's not good. His second ability does 80% more damage, that doesn't matter, but he gains tenacity increase for 2 turns. The worst thing that can happen for a very, very slow tank on a team like Pride is that Salvador gets dispelled. Tenacity increase for 2 turns, that's a good one. I gave this a 4, I think. Yeah, 4 points. It's a good upgrade, and it changes him, because that's his biggest weakness. His passive ability gains 50% extra chance to gain debuff immunity, meaning he goes from 50% chance to just getting it every time. I gave that 3 points. It's not that significant, but it's usable, so 3 points. His passive is a bit strange, and that's a new mechanic that we haven't seen before. He gets further 10% physical armor for each living Pride character in the party, meaning if he is with a full team, he will have 50%, 85% increased physical armor, meaning that even without his steel shell, he will take absolutely no damage whatsoever. This makes him very, very tanky, against physical damage at least. And now the new mechanic. If Salvador has both steel shell and taunt, his speed decreases by 30%. That's another nice addition. He's already the slowest character in the game, but this makes him ultra slow. He's basically not moving at all, which again illustrates why his basic is so bad. I give this another 4 points. This is a solid upgrade to Salvador. Next up, we have Centerra. Centerra I've given 3 points, 3 points, 3 points, and a surprise on the last one. Her first ability is usable. It's average increase of what you could expect, nothing special. More damage, more healing. Her second ability, more healing to all and a bit more shield for herself. Nothing special, 3 points. Same with her third ability, more damage, more healing, nothing special, 3 points. Now the last one is a bit tricky, because the ability itself, that's 5 points in my opinion. Giving 2 allies a cooldown reduction on a random skill every time she takes a turn, that's very, very, very good. Getting from 1 to 2 on one upgrade, that's amazingly good. It's a solid 5 points. Now what's wrong with it? Her strongest synergy is with Mega Wheel. Getting ability cooldown for Mega Wheel, and there's a decent chance for that with 2 random allies getting it. The problem with it is that Mega Wheel will not taunt on turn 1 when the AI control him with this, meaning he will just AoE instead and ruin your team on defense. That's what's bad about it. I don't know if the devs will change the order of his skills. If they do, this is a strong upgrade. If they don't, it's good on offense and it's good on teams without Mega Wheel, but with him, I don't know. But it is a very, very good ability that can be used on a lot of different teams and situations for some extra shenanigans. Rantha. What did I put about her? I gave this a 3 points. She doesn't do a lot of damage. Her damage is low. And that she gives shield to battleproof for that damage doesn't matter that much in my opinion. So 3 points for that one. Second ability, 100% of Rantha's health instead of 80, and 50% extra healing when using this ability again, meaning that instead of just doing nothing when resummoning, if Battle Poo was already alive, you get full health back to Battle Poo. But even with 100% health, Rantha has useless health. It doesn't matter if it's 80 or 100%. It's an okay upgrade, but it's nothing special. 3 points. The next one is 20% more damage to an ability that's biggest advantage is 8 arrows, not the damage. So 20% more or less doesn't really make a difference. It's okay, but nothing special. Another 3 points. Her last ability is, while Battle Poo is alive, Rantha's physical and magic armor increases by 30%. That goes up to 50 on level 7. And Battle Poo also receives this physical and magic armor buff. It doesn't say up here, but it should work like that. And if that's the case, yeah, it does say Rantha's and Battle Poo's physical and magic damage armor is increased by 50%. Now we're talking. This is a very, very good upgrade from an absolutely ridiculous passive ability, because Battle Poo's never alive, and when he is, that's just in the beginning of the fight, and he will die in 1-2 hits, and then it doesn't matter about this passive ability at all. Now getting 50% and Battle Poo gets it as well suddenly makes Battle Poo take more hits, and she gets more armor at the same time. I've given this 5 points. She's not a good character still, but the upgrade itself is 5 points in the value it adds, in my opinion. Robin Bad. Yeah, what about him? Upgrading his basic ability does actually take him up, not to the top of the turn meter reduction gameplay, but up high. He's 4th or 5th best turn meter remover in the game when you upgrade this ability, because he's not that slow. He's actually okay speedish, and 25% chance, 25% turn meter removed, that's suddenly usable again. The trouble with it is that he's very hard to gear, but with the new runes and new artifacts, you can reach 110% Tenat potency and a decent crit chance. And with this, he still competes with some of the best turn meter removers. If you can get this on him, and if you can get it on Batty, you can also get it on Robin Bad. If you get these levels, he is better than Batty with her basic ability only on level 6. If she's got a level 7 basic, she is far better. But at level 6, he is actually better at turn meter removal than a standard Batty. That's something to consider. But I only gave it 3 points because it doesn't add a lot to him as a character. It adds a lot in matter of raid viability. He used to be on the very first solo team for both Phase 3 and Phase 1 back in the days when the raid launched initially. He was one of the core characters, and well, he can be used again just as well as some of the others. 3 points. Nevertheless, this ability I've given 4 points. He gets 55% extra damage to 3 enemies. That itself is a decent upgrade on a damaging ability, and he gets a 60% increased chance to get a critical hit chance buff for himself for 2 turns. Instead of 40, making it completely useless, it's a guaranteed, on top of 325% physical damage to 3 enemies. This is a very good upgrade. I've given it 4 points for adding both the guaranteed crit chance, which will help you on turn meter removal, and for the extra damage it gives. His next ability, that's 15% extra turn meter to all allies. That, no matter what else a skill does, is very good, and I've given this another 4 points. Robin Bad got 4 points. His passive, gain 5% counter attack chance for each living human in the party. This can be used. You can also just not use it. Doesn't really matter. It's okay. 3 points, nothing special. Master Duo. I think he's the last, isn't he? Yeah, no, there's one more. Master Duo. 4 turn meter removal. He gets absolutely nothing extra on his basic. Removes, get extra damage. Doesn't matter, we all know Duo doesn't do damage. Removes an invisibility and a dodge increase from the target. Never mind, he never hits anyone that has that anyway. So that's, it's okay. It's a 3 points. Because he gets 60% extra damage and he gets some options that doesn't really proc that often anyway, but it's a 3 points. His next ability, I've also given 3 points for a decent amount of extra damage to all enemies, 50%, that's a good chunk. And if they all receive damage, he gains both damage increase and accuracy increase for 2 turns. I've given this another 3 points, only because he doesn't do a lot of damage, and because who cares about accuracy increase in general? We get back to this, and he always hits, so it's definitely a decent skill, but it's not game changing in any way. I just gave it 3 points. But we're not done at all with Master Duo. See, now it gets interesting. His level 7 upgrade to his third ability gives him 15% extra turn meter from 50% to 65. That's a lot. On top of that, he gains crit chance, crit damage, and counterattack for 3 turns instead of just 2 turns. That's another good one. And on top of that, he gains shield equal to 100% of health healed above the maximum. And he recovers 35% of it. He can get quite tanky if he gets to use this a few times. This is an amazing ability, considering it as an upgrade from this to this. I've given this 5 points. But now it gets interesting. Some of you already saw my Master Duo video from 2 days ago, or yesterday, I don't remember. If you didn't, it's up here now. I just linked it for you, where Master Duo actually do quite a lot of damage. And that's because of this ability, which I've given this upgrade, which I've given 4 points. Reason why? If the chance to hit the enemy is more than 100%, and it always is, because he's got accuracy increase on his passive, he gains damage increase equal to this percent above 100. As I showed in the video I just linked, he can get up to around 100% extra damage after he's gotten this ability, proc, accuracy increase, and a good artifact with accuracy, and accuracy on northeastern. I didn't even have that in my video. He can go above 100% extra damage. And when he's got both crit chance increase, crit damage increase, and counterattack, he hurts. and then suddenly this starts to do damage anyway. A bit complex. There's something to exploit here if you really want to, but it's not making him a better raid character. None of it. 3 points, 3 points, 5, 4. Alyria is the last one. Alleria, was that the basic? Yeah. On her basic, she gets 40% extra magic damage. That's a 2 points. It doesn't matter, she doesn't do any damage. So, just a bit more. It's not useless, but it definitely isn't worth ever upgrading. Her second ability, I just have to check my notes here to be certain, gets 100% extra magic damage for healing for all allies. Now, if you think of Tenessa's healing ability, she got 200% extra for one ally. And if that ally got healed above, that 200% got split to the other 4. Still just 200% extra. This is potentially 5 times 400, 5 times 100%. So that's 500% extra healing. But that's just half of it. The other half removes 1 random debuff from each ally. Not just 1, all of them. Now that's an upgrade. This is a solid, very, very good upgrade. From, yeah, okay, she healed your team, to your team is 100% health and you just lost a debuff, all of them. That's a solid 5 for the upgrade itself. Her next ability is a 4 in my opinion. It has always been a bit useless. This changes now from 350% magic damage to 450. That's a big chunk. And heal the lowest ally by 75% more. Plus, she then applies debuff immunity to the lowest health ally for 2 turns. That's a pretty good upgrade for a healing ability that was useless before, and now suddenly it has usage. Debuff immunity, 2 turns, 100% extra magic damage, and 55% extra healing, 4 points. Her passive, and I think that's the last ability of them all. Yeah, I've been through them then. The last ability, 5% extra magic damage for each living elf in the party. 3 points. It's okay. It's not amazing, but it's okay. The good part is that if you have failure on the same team, she gets the same buff. They still need to be alive, and Alyria you just have to sneeze at, then she falls over. So that she won't be on the field for long, and then you lose 10%. But this is 25% extra magic damage to failure, who's a strong damage dealer. So it's worth to consider, but not really anyway. That was the upgrades. Let's move over to my spreadsheet and look at the total combined. So here's all of it. Hope you can see it on your screen. If you are on a phone, some of it might be a bit small. I've boosted it up as much as I can. 21 characters, it's getting crowded on this sheet, and some of them may have to be reconsidered later on. The more that gets released. But there's some decent upgrades here and there. Only 3 ones so far, and none of them this time. That was good, and we only got 2 2s this time. The rest were 3 or better. It's getting crowded in the green area, which are those I consider for the best upgrades when ranking, which in my opinion are most worth it. Not for the upgrade itself, because then it would just be the 5s that had my best recommendation. that's not the case, because Alyria isn't a good character in herself. The upgrade is amazing, but her stats are useless. So that's why I have the other. Let's move over to the other sheet. So that's why I have another layer of consideration before making which upgrades are the best. First up, I remove all red, orange and yellow. That means up to 3 in my ranking. And then I try to look at which upgrades I think is the best, considering the usage and the stats, the meta of the game, which abilities are best to upgrade. And this is getting harder and harder to just have 10. I really want to add more, and I'm not completely satisfied with this yet, because there's a few missing that I would have liked to have on this list. But so far I only have 10. So the recommendations will stay for 1 and 2. I'll give them still to Boreas, especially if you combine them. If you don't, then you can argue maybe they are not 1 and 2. Maybe Hard Orcs is better. Even though I only ranked that 4 points, that is a very, very good upgrade. And I still think his second ability is the 3rd best in the game to upgrade. And new at entry at 4 is Tenessa. It's not just in the raid that getting 2 extra poison for 2 turns is amazing on an ability you will always use. That's in every part of the game if you have Tenessa. That's an awesome upgrade, and I already did it. So that's how that is. At 5, I moved Babby's turn mirror removal down 1 notch. Kagi, I moved up from 4 to 6 now, I think it was. I suspect that's getting even lower the more characters that gets released. He's not staying in top 10 forever, I think. It's going to move up. Salvador's ability to go super slow motion while being almost immune to physical damage even without his steel shell is so good. I gave it a 7. He's not the most used tank by far, far from it. If he had been more used, that would have been a higher number. That's a good upgrade. Same with Batty, she isn't the most used tank, but with this upgrade she is on par with several of the good tanks. So that's my 8th recommendation. At number 9 I have Wanderlula's second ability that hits so hard when it gets upgraded to level 7. I have that on 9th place. And the worst of the 10 best upgrades you can choose is Centerra's passive. And that's a bit tricky because it's bad with Mega Wheel, but it's so good in so many other situations that I still gave it a 10. But it's a difficult choice if it should have that 10 a lot. You could argue that some of the other abilities are better, that my evaluation of this is wrong. I think from my perspective this is fairly accurate, but if you don't have all the characters leveled, or you like or use some of them more than I use some of them, then other abilities will be better for you to upgrade. That's up to you. Consider it yourself. You can use my ranking, you can use my point system to make your choices, but you're not bound by this in any way. This is just my opinion. Make your own choices to make sure that it fits your roster and your playstyle. That would be my recommendation. Hit like if you want. Hit subscribe if you want. Don't if you don't want. Link in the description for my Discord if you want to talk, have questions for this or anything else related to Dragon Champions. Have a great day.